Dorian Ironveil. Dorian Ironveil preferred the quiet anonymity of coastal towns. Port Blossom wasn't remarkable, a smudge of grey stone and weathered wood clinging to the Irish coastline. He'd been sketching the harbour for 3 days, filling notebooks with the play of light on the water, the gnarled hands of the fishermen, the slow, deliberate rot of the piers. It was a grounding exercise, a way to recalibrate after the places he'd been. He sat on a low wall, the damp seeping into his tweed jacket, and sketched a boy flying a kite, its colors blurred against the bruised sky. It was a perfect, unremarkable afternoon, the kind he actively sought. The kite fell. Not in a graceful arc, but as if cut. Dorian looked up, expecting a gust of wind, but the air was still. The boy, no older than 8, stared at the fallen kite, his face crumpling. Dorian started to offer a comforting word, but the boy wasn't looking at the kite. He was staring, fixedly, at a point beside the kite, at empty air. Then, he whispered, so quietly Dorian almost missed it, "It wasn't my turn yet." That wasn't a response to a fallen kite. It was a statement filled with a strange, hollow dread. Dorian felt a prickling at the back of his neck, the familiar warning sign that something fractured was nearby. He found Old Man Hemlock's shop almost by accident, tucked away on a cobbled side street. It wasn't a shop for tourists. It smelled of dust and brine and something indefinably old. Hemlock sold nautical charts, repair tools, and Dorian quickly discovered stories. He asked about the boy and the kite. Hemlock didn't seem surprised. "Time slips here sometimes," he said, his voice raspy as barnacles. "The currents aren't just in the sea. There are eddies, places where the past bleeds through." He showed Dorian a chart, not of the coastline, but of time, a swirling map of layered dates and faded lines, annotated with unsettling notes about thin places and echo events. The chart pointed to a lighthouse on a small, uninhabited island a few miles offshore. Hemlock warned him against going. "Some doors are best left unopened, Dorian. Some echoes are best left unanswered." But the nagging sensation, the feeling that something vital was out of alignment, wouldn't let him be. He hired a boat, but the sea was treacherous, the fog thick as wool. The boatman refused to go closer than 100 yards, muttering about bad omens and ghostly lights. Dorian swam the rest of the way, the water icy and disorienting. The lighthouse wasn't what he expected. It wasn't abandoned, it was repeating. A scene played out within its walls, looping endlessly, a woman weeping, a man pacing, a child, and possibly, both present and absent. He found the source of the loop in the lighthouse's heart, a chronometer, not of brass and gears, but of bone and shadow. It pulsed with a sickly green light, anchoring the repeating scene to this point in time. The woman in the loop saw him. She didn't scream, she didn't acknowledge his presence as now. She looked at him with a bone-deep sorrow, and whispered a name that resonated within Dorian, a name he hadn't heard in decades, a name he thought buried forever. It was his sister's name. His sister who had drowned in these very waters years ago. The chronometer wasn't just repeating a moment, it was preserving it, trapping it. And him, it seemed, it was drawing him in. He could break the chronometer, shatter the loop, and release the trapped moment into the flow of time. But doing so would erase any trace of his sister from existence, even the memory of her. Or, he could try to integrate himself into the loop, to become a part of the repeating scene, to somehow reach her, to offer comfort, even knowing that every attempt would reset with the next cycle. It was a choice between oblivion and endless, futile repetition. He chose repetition. He stepped forward, into the pulsing green light, into the repeating echo of his past, hoping that even within the loop, a flicker of connection was possible. He doesn't remember how long he's been within the loop. Time has become meaningless, a series of repeating moments. But something has changed. The loop isn't perfect anymore. Glitches appear, a fleeting smile from his sister, a hand reaching out, a moment of recognition in her eyes. He's subtly altering the past, not erasing it, but softening its edges. the lighthouse still repeats. But it no longer feels like a prison. It feels like a sanctuary, a place where grief can be held, and where even within the fractured currents of time, a connection can endure. He's become a ghost in his own history, a silent guardian of a lost moment, and perhaps, in the long, echoing cycles of time, that's enough.